flow with me. You come to find out that God is not just your regular teacher. Neither is he your regular ballet of your village, your regular king. You come to find out that God is not somebody that you can just encounter by will. In fact, the closer you are to God, the more reference comes upon you, the more afraid you are of his doings. Let me put it this way. To Pharaoh, the Lord is God. Are you with me? You are not with me? Okay. Maybe I should leave this teaching. To Pharaoh, the Lord is God. To Israel, he is their Lord. He shall be my people, and I shall do what? But to Moses, he was Abba and a friend. You see, the difference is that when you encounter God, you encounter the entirety of the knowledge available to every being that seeks a God. When you go further in your walk with him and you encounter the Lord, you come into a personal relationship with him where you come to understand his nature and understand his being beyond what theology can afford you. But when you step a bit closer to God, you come to meet him as a friend. But listen, the closer you are to God, hope you are aware that the farther your physical entirety is from him. Because when you draw closer to God, what is happening to you is that you are leaving yourself. Nature no longer exists. Because nature is not a factor in the throne room. And that's why not even every being in the heavenlies can approach the throne. Okay, don't worry. Anonymous with what fear is in this realm. In this realm, men become afraid out of the place of terror. In the realm of the spirit, men become afraid out of the place of revelation. The true word fear did not come to be because men began to fidget. Are you with me? Men did not begin to fidget in the place of fear. It was the aberration of certain angels known as the fallen angels. It was the aberration of fallen angels that brought about the scope of what we know as fear in this realm. In the realm of the spirit, the closer you are to a being, the more you are aware of not just the personality, but the capacity of that being. So once you come to understand the capacity of that being, and you are now able to align within the scope of reference that being has given you, that is what is called fear. You know what I mean? If you love the Lord, what did the Bible say? It said you will fear him. It's not saying you will be afraid of him, because the Lord has not given us that spirit. You know what I mean? Are you with me? He has not given us the spirit of fear, but of what? The Greek word sound mind there means the ability to think like God. Are you with me? That's what the Bible, you remember the scripture? If you interpret, if you go to the root word sound mind, the root word sound mind means the ability to think, to have in similitude the faculty of God. So the closer you are to God, the more you begin to understand God, the more you enter his faculty, the way he reasons. When you enter the faculty of God, when you wake up in the morning and see the sun, you will not just think of what you eat in that day. You now begin to imagine the bodies of the Father for that day, because you now fear the Lord. You no longer fast because you want to receive. You now fast because you want to enter. That is what fear does to a man. See, it is no longer an option to sin. Sin will no longer be an option, not because you are trying to avoid it. It is because it cannot come close to you. You have too much of the thinking of God. How can you think of sin when a man thinks like God? Can you now see what the Bible said? That for they that are born of God, it is not possible for them to sin. It is because they now fear the Lord. Hi. You thought fear is to be timid and to hide yourself in one place. If the Lord wanted fear to exist in his place, hell would have existed as the Lord created the earth. Are you with me? But hell was created by the activities of the devil and men. So hell was not part of the system to breed fear in the heart of men. So when you are going to evangelize and telling them if you don't receive Jesus, you will go to hell, that is a wrong message. It's the message of an emotional man. That is not the gospel, sir. You're not here. When a man begins to see as the Lord sees, so you wake up in the morning, Victor, and then the normal thing for you to do is to take your bath and then your daily duties. Like people say, the hustle continues. But a man that fears the Lord, when he opens his eyes in this realm, he's not doing so on the strength of his ability. He knows that he has come from a realm when certain information have been given unto him, and he begins to see as the Lord sees. So to a man that fears the Lord, the sun might be shining, but to him, he knows it's a time to stay back and rest. He knows that although it is daytime, it's time to go and work, but he forsakes to know what the Lord is doing. And out of that strength, he can carry out his activity. So Jesus said, whatever I see my Father do, that is the definition of fear. You no longer have the ability to do things of your own accord. Are you here? Anything that helps you or keeps you timid, any presence that you enter and you begin to fidget, that presence is that of a demon. It's not the presence of the Lord. Check men that encountered Jesus. John was at the Isle of Patmos, and then the angel came to meet him. Remember in Revelation chapter 1? And the first thing the angel did was to do what? Tell him, fear not. Because fear can take you out of the presence of God. You can be in the presence of God. God can be there with you. And because of fear, you can exit yourself out of his protocol. Because God is not emotional. Are you with me? Don't think God is emotional. Anything you do, so long as the presence of God is in a place, anything you do there has a meaning. That's why it is called a sacred place. You must be afraid. God even cares what you wear in his presence. Hence, he told Moses, pull your shoe. It was not a doctrine. It was an activity. God had a way of seeing things, and he had to bring Moses into that way. So when you are done in a place of prayer, lift your hands. Don't just do it fidgetily. Have the understanding. Hey, there were days when men met God, and all God told them to do to win a battle was not to shoot guns. It was to lift hands. You're not with me. You're not with me. How a man was able to conquer another nation was not in the expertise of his strategy in winning battles. It was not even in the experience. All he needed to just do was to hold his hands. And when his hands was coming down, he was beginning to lose the battle. Who calculated it? When you read scripture at times, your heart should be opened and be bothered. How is it that the time the guy's hand was coming down, Israel was losing the battle? What correlation exists with it? When you fear God, you think like God. You no longer see the way men see. We might be in this service and somebody can be distracted. It's because he is a lost man. You can't be in a place where God is and you are, may I never be busy. Too busy for the Lord. You need to learn to walk in his footsteps, not walk beside his footsteps. You need to learn to walk within his footsteps, within the confines of his understanding. You need to learn to come into that place. I needed to stop the service so that we have this understanding. So you know that it is not because you are shouting in the place of prayer that you are praying.